like I stop because I want to point something out to you. Yeah, this is Howard Riell, and every day I start the show by saying, my name is Howard Riell, and this is Real Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com, and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr, and in the book, now this is the part I'm referring to, and in the book, Real Truth, Stay Angry. Now, it's true, I wrote that book. And it's true, this sounds a little self-serving, but I would be remiss if I didn't point this out. What's the lead story on every media outlet today? The race for president. Specifically, Donald Trump. Specifically, how the establishment, the power structure, the machine is trying to take him out. That is the news item on planet Earth today, and going back the last several months, and going forward the next several months. Well, this whole issue of the establishment, the machine, the power structure, the elite, versus the people. Well, this is what my book's all about. Real Truth, Stay Angry. It's all about the history and the composition and the means and the goals of the machine, of the establishment, the same people, the same quasi-organization, the same fraternity, the same cabal that's trying to squash Donald Trump and incidentally also Bernie Sanders, because they come from the outside. Donald Trump is not beholden to any special interest. He's not taking any money for his campaign. It's all coming out of his pocket. Why is he doing that? So that he's not owned. Hillary Clinton, Ted Cruz, John Kasich, and to some degree Bernie Sanders, I think, they all take money from special interests. They are all owned because you know and I know that when a politician takes millions of dollars from special interest, they get into office, whom do they represent? Sure as hell not you and me. They represent the people and the organizations and the companies and the industries that gave them the money. Well, Donald Trump has said it repeatedly. He works, as president, he will work for us, and that makes all the difference. Don't tell me what Donald Trump said back in 1994. Don't tell me he once wrote a check to Hillary Clinton. I couldn't care less. It means nothing. He wasn't staking out political positions. He was a businessman giving what are effectively bribes to politicians who are only too happy to take bribes. Trump's not taking any bribes. Not taking any money. Won't accept campaign contributions. He's doing it all himself because we, the American people, are involved in a life and death struggle with the machine, which I wrote about quite expertly, if you don't mind my saying, in my book, Real Truth, Stay Angry. And so I want you to read it, not just because I'm going to make a couple of bucks when you buy it, but because it's essential reading to know who these people, collectively known as the establishment, are. Who are they? What are they? Where are they coming from? And what do they want? The answer isn't money, because they control the Federal Reserve. They can print as much money as they want. The answer is power, but that's only half the answer. Power to do what? What do they want to do with that power? They're already rich. They already have chauffeurs and butlers, limousines, private airplanes. They have all that stuff already. They don't need more of it. So what is this power that they're seeking? It's power to control nations. Power to control the destiny of the world. Power to control people. Which people? Us. The Clintons, the Kasichs, the Cruzes. They are part and parcel of a political establishment, corporate establishment, military establishment, media establishment, all rolled into one that wants control. That's why I've said to you innumerable times here on Real Truth to be careful about the messages you're getting from the media. The media crafts the dialogue. They will tell you by reporting on what they want to report on what you should be talking about, what you should be thinking about. By leaving things out, they remove them from the national discussion. Like Ron Paul 4 years ago. They just left him alone. They didn't talk about him, they shut him out, and as a result, not many people thought about Ron Paul, which was too bad. Their methods are myriad. Every time you turn on the TV news show, especially on cable, they're slandering, insulting, and demeaning Donald Trump. Why? Because he stands in opposition to the machine, just like we do. This is a multi-pronged attack. We're fighting wars on many fronts, you and I. The American people, we're fighting against our own elected officials. We're fighting against the media. We're fighting against the corporations. We're fighting against the United Nations. All the nations that want what America has. And the people here in America who benefit by giving it to them. That's what this election is about. It's not about Donald Trump and Ted Cruz and Hillary Clinton. It's about the soul of America. I've said that before too. It's about our very freedom. It's about our destiny. Because if we're controlled lock, stock, and barrel, what the hell is the future foretell for our children? And their children? And their children? What are we leaving them? Except servitude. Except imprisonment. If we ever want to take our country back, it happens now. It can only happen now. In the future, things will be even more entrenched, more locked in, and then we'll never get loose. The time is now. Not just to vote for Trump, but to get active, get loud, and go out and fight for Trump. Not because we love Trump, but because Trump is fighting for us. And so when we fight for him, we're fighting for ourselves. And man, we better fight. Because we're in a fight, whether we know it or not, and we're losing badly. So we better get with the program. Only Donald Trump is not owned by the machine, which explains why they're moving heaven and earth to get rid of him. And everything they do to him, they're doing to us. And if you don't know that, it's time to get to know that. You can find my book on BarnesandNoble.com, VirtualBookworm.com, Amazon.com. You can't spit without hitting this book. I recommend that you buy it, you read it, you talk about it, you share it, because the battle for the future, that's going on right now. This is Real Truth. We'll be right back.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz, or call us at 303-829-5948.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Herb.
How many times have you gone into a health food store and are confused as to the many different brands and prices on the same herbal supplements? You want to buy the cheapest, but you're afraid that quality is less, so you buy the most expensive. Truth is, the cheapest may be better. Green Herb herbal supplements are all manufactured in our Wheat Ridge, Colorado plant at 4565 Kipling Street, using the highest quality herb that we source from all over the world. Our 150 different herbal supplements are the most potent and safest in America. Our guarantee is your money back, no time limit. Just return the bottle empty or full, no questions asked. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372.
The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
All right, guys, the news of the day, Donald Trump and the establishment trying to steal our right to vote for our own leader. Here is Alex Jones on InfoWars talking about just that. Listen up.
Now, let me go ahead and break down some of the news that is coming up, obviously. I want to open the phones up at the bottom of the hour to get your view on the big election steal. There is powerful video up on DrudgeReport.com of the Colorado Election Day revealed, where it shows the unanimous vote for Ted Cruz by the appointed superdelegates, ignoring the real delegates who didn't even get to represent voters. So it's frauds within frauds within frauds. Delegates were decided 10 seconds at a time. Trump calls process a disgrace. Cruz email asks for $35 to be top deputy delegate. That's right, Cruz is now offering not to pay off delegates, but offering to be part of his operation as a voter. If you're one of his minions, he will bring you in and then claim that you are a real delegate. So I guess they want actors, basically, to play the part of delegates. This is what he's recruiting, is an army of people to say, here are my delegates, but you have to pay to be one of his gang members, I guess. So people are really flipping out. Here's some of the stories up on Infowars.com. 2016, the year the Americans found out our elections are rigged. The illusion of choice. The scales coming off the eyes. Big story that we broke here yesterday, now in Breitbart, New York Times, Politico, you name it. See the full video interview with Roger Stone at the bottom of the article. Roger Stone, Trump delegates should sign a loyalty pledge. Very, very powerful article. One of the most powerful he's written in a long time. And again, is an article written around the exclusive interview where he first broke it here. Just pointing out, you normally, a lot of times, hear stuff here first. We're very proud of that fact. To not just be analyzing news or going out and doing original investigations, but also breaking a lot of exclusive information with newsmakers like Roger Stone on a daily basis. Huge developments with Dr. Corsi yesterday of his investigation into the Cruz campaign, actually running the takeover of Eagle Forum and mugging a 92-year-old woman, Phyllis Schlafly. We've had an article going up on Infowars.com about that interview as well. Phyllis Schlafly, my board plotted to fire me over Trump. We have that interview with him as well. That's up on Infowars.com. But before I get into all the latest election news, the theft of the election, the canceling of the voters in primaries in many states now, before we get to this slow motion destruction of our electoral process, let's look at the background of what's happening. Turmoil all over the world. Presidents, prime ministers, chancellors being appointed to office. Wars. Economic meltdown in China. The World Bank coming out, the IMF saying they're going to go to zero interest rates. This is all part and parcel of the mega colossal bubble we're all sitting on top of. And there's a good chance Donald Trump may not get assassinated, may actually be able to defeat the cheaters, because the popular will. I'll give him about a 30% chance of not getting killed or actually getting in office, one or the other. I mean, that's 30% chance. And I'm not putting negative odds out there to scare people. Donald Trump is a hero because of his courage. I disagree with some of the things he says, but he's on a suicide mission. That's the headline of this segment. Donald Trump's on a suicide mission. Now, a suicide mission doesn't mean you're going to die every time, but it means there's a good chance. 50-50 or 30-70. I mean, it means we're talking Russian roulette here. And you got to admire a man in the arena like that, because I'm a man in the arena. Not as much as Trump is, but I'm pretty close. And so's Roger Stone and others. And it's an exclusive club. Matt Drudge is in there, deeper than I am in the arena. And I see a lot of other people buckling to it at major news sites, and I see other news sites split. I know WorldNet Daily is split, but the old wise man over there, Corsi, is not split. He knows Trump. He knows this is for real. Cruz is putting a lot of heat on people. The Republican establishment is really dropping the hammer. We've been threatened. This is a serious moment in America.
My friends, let me let me back up what Alex Jones just said. This is a very, very serious moment in America. Don't undersell just how serious this is. The fate of our nation is literally hanging in the balance. Are we going to be allowed to vote for our leaders or not? Doesn't get much more fundamental than that. Let's look at some news item from the Washington Post, Dateline, Salem, New Hampshire. In a sign of just how tricky it is to court libertarian Republicans here and how diffuse Ron Paul's old supporters have become, the former Texas congressman took to Fox News Friday to criticize Senator Ted Cruz. They think he's for the free market and he's owned by Goldman Sachs, Paul said. He and Hillary have more in common than we have with Trump or anyone else. The we in that sentence was Paul's son, Senator Rand Paul. Rand Paul's Wednesday, his exit from the presidential race kicked off a scramble of sorts. Quote, all right, that's it. Ron Paul says don't vote for Ted Cruz. Ron Paul was the victim of the same kind of persecution, the same lynch mob that Donald Trump is facing now. He knows how the game is played. Ron Paul was a guest on my show. Remember, I asked him, I said, what if you do win the nomination? This is going back 4 years. What if you do win the nomination and then at the convention in some back room somewhere, they put an arm around your shoulder and say, listen, Ron, welcome to the big leagues. Here's how we play the game. We're going to tell you what to do and you're going to do it. Because if you don't, we know where your family can be found. We know where they live. What are you going to do then? And he wasn't very comfortable answering that question. And he said, well, I like to think that I would make the best choice for America, or something like that. Well, the more things change, the more they stay the same, right? Item from Politichicks.com. In an audio of Colorado Republican Party Chair Steve House speaking at an August 11th Pueblo County GOP meetup, House made some interesting statements about Donald Trump. Here are some of his comments from that meeting. Quote, do I think he's going to be the nominee? Absolutely not. Do you know who's taking away votes from him? Ted Cruz. Right, Ted Cruz. Right, which is hard to believe. I think what happens to Donald Trump, with all due respect to a man who's made billions of dollars and had companies go bankrupt and recovered, is he's going to get bored. He's going to get bored. He's going to get tired of the continuous questioneering and badgering. Unquote. Well, that, Mr. House, was wrong. Trump hasn't gotten bored. In fact, he's getting more fired up than ever, as are Trump supporters. Item from thedenverchannel.com. Emails obtained by ABC News sent to Colorado GOP Chairman Steve House tell him to, quote, quit whining about all the threatening calls and emails he's receiving. Another email tells him to, quote, pray he makes it to Cleveland. Instructs him to support Trump or, quote, you are done. One email provided to ABC News tells House to hide his family members. This does not have to do with Trump. This has everything to do with the people having a chance to vote. One email sent today read, stop being a blank and admit that the residents of Colorado shout to have a chance to vote rather than a slim minority telling the residents of Colorado who they have to vote for. That's the real story here. Quit whining about all the calls and emails you're getting. It's your job. If you don't want it, resign. Unquote. Another email reads, quote, all I can say is pray you make it to Cleveland. The fix is in and the American people will eliminate anyone who gets in the way. Unquote. The email reads, quote, it would be in your best interest to take a stand and support the American people and Trump, or you are done. Trump goes independent to rid the nation of scum like you. I would be hiding all family members. Just check out social media. Unquote. My friends, let me be unequivocal about this. There should be no violence. There should be no threats. We need to remain a civil, law-abiding society. Got me? There's no room for violence or the threat of violence in the political process. However, this is a big however, I've been telling you for probably years already that the power structure is getting more and more heavy-handed with the American people. And so, I would not be surprised, I would never call for it, but I would not be surprised, I've said many times, to find physical violent reprisals against government officials, elected officials, party officials. I hope it never happens, but it wouldn't surprise me, because how much can the American people take? Well, I think we're going to find out the answer to that question in this election. Donald Trump is millions of votes ahead of Ted Cruz. He has galvanized the American people. Every single story in the media about the presidential election begins with the name Trump in the first sentence. So for him to not get the nomination, quite frankly, it would piss off an awful lot of people. I'll say it again. I hope it never ever comes to violence. But if it does, I won't be surprised. Item from Bloomberg. Donald Trump is about to get more fuel for his complaint about the Republican Party, and its process for selecting the delegates will determine his political fate at a national convention. Meeting behind closed doors, party leaders in Indiana on Wednesday selected 27 delegates, with most expected to be opposed to the billionaire, even though the state's voters won't cast primary ballots there for nearly 3 more weeks. As the calendar advances closer to the July National Convention, it will become more common to have states like Indiana pick delegates before ballots are cast. That could buttress accusations by the New York real estate mogul and his allies that the system is rigged. Trump is doing well in the allocation process, but Cruz is doing much better in the selection process. That's Josh Putnam, University of Georgia lecturer who runs the Front Loading HQ blog, referring to Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Trump, who leads the delegate count so far, is projected to get beaten badly this weekend in Wyoming when 14 delegates are picked at the state party convention. Stop! Delegates picked at the state party convention! Delegates are supposed to reflect our votes. If the delegates are picked before the votes, what the hell are we voting for? I can answer that question. We're voting for nothing. We're voting to support a sham. They might as well just shut down the elections. They might as well cancel the elections. They might as well erase all the voter rolls, voter registration rolls. There's no reason to vote if the winner is predetermined, right? What is this, pro wrestling? Item from Business Insider. If Donald Trump arrives at the Republican National Convention with less than a majority of delegates bound to him, his message will be simple. I got way more votes than anyone else, and party insiders are conspiring against me to give the nomination to somebody else. This complaint will be true. It will be valid. And anti-Trump Republicans will dismiss it at their peril. There's been a weird epidemic of short-sighted schadenfreude among Republican insiders over the past week as they watch Trump's campaign blunder through the intricacies of delegate selection. It's true, Trump's campaign is doing badly at the small stuff, and it's costing him delegates. Trump failed to organize for Colorado's complex delegate conventions in which voters never got to express a direct preference for a candidate. Unquote. My friends, that last paragraph brings us back to what I've been hearing ad nauseum on TV. People like Anderson Cooper say, well, those are the rules. Anderson, schmuck. In Germany in the 1930s, it was okay to beat up Jews on the streets, smash their shop windows. It was legal because, after all, those were the rules. Don't look into a TV camera and tell me these are the rules. The rules stink. The rules are unfair. The rules are immoral. The rules tilt. The rules are fingers on the scale. The rules favor the establishment at the expense of the American people, our democracy, our Constitution, and our future. So don't tell me that those are the rules. What about the elected officials who've never changed those rules? We'll be back.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz, or call us at 303-829-5948.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities as modest emergency lighting all the way to commercial-scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom-designed system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to greatplainssolar.com. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America's News Network. Census, the uniformed people in Greeley, ask everyone to get involved in our community this holiday season. Whether it's a toy for a needy child, care package for military members, or giving the gift of life by giving blood, you can make a difference and directly affect someone else's life. This message is from Census, the uniformed people in Greeley. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. Named one of the most admired outsourcing companies in America. Census.
Guys, we are back. Donald Trump spoke yesterday to a jam-packed audience in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Here's some of what he said.
But here's what we have to be careful of. In Colorado right now, they're picketing and going wild because the bosses and the establishment and the people that shouldn't have this power took all of the power away from the voters. So the voters never got to vote. And the voters didn't know that except when I got up and complained. Because they did it after I joined the race, and they figured I'd probably win Colorado, which I would. I would win Colorado, like my polls here, and I'll explain that. So in Colorado, they're all delegates. And we had delegates, they go in, they don't take them, and then they take these others, so they get...
Uh-oh. We got technical problems. Let me throw it instead to Michael Savage talking about Barack Hussein Obama. Let's listen.
All right, it's the Savage Nation. We're all asking why Obama is silent on the interracial violence in America, why he's silent on the killing and the killing of Christians in Egypt. And an article came out the other day in World Net Daily saying Obama's brother linked to Muslim Brotherhood. Report says Malik directs radical Islamic movement's investments. And it's a report based upon reports by Walid Shobat, who says that he read a speech in Arabic on Egyptian television. Joining us now is Walid Shobat, former Muslim Brotherhood member, former PLO member, now a peace activist. He wrote a book called The Case for Islamophobia. Walid, welcome back to the Savage Nation. This is a very serious...
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Walid. In a news report on Egyptian television of a Gabali speech translated by researcher Walid Shobat, a former PLO organization operative, Gabali said she would like to inform the American people that they're...
All right, my friends, as you can see, the gods of technology are against me. Why should they be different from everybody else? So the videos have been interrupted, and let's move on with more news. Item from dailyheadlines.net. A man from Palmdale, California, wearing a bra and dress enters the ladies' bathroom at Macy's, and what happens next should not surprise you. The man, Jason Pomari, 33, entered the bathroom, which the ACLU and the liberal elitists in this country say is his God-given right. He sets up a hidden camera in one of the stalls and for the next 2 hours tapes women using the bathroom. Eventually, one woman noticed the camera with the record light on and notified mall security, who arrested Pomari. There was absolutely no way for anyone to see this coming, was there? Reported in Breitbart, when Pomari was contacted, he was wearing a wig and women's clothing, including a bra, a statement from the LASD revealed. The deputy noticed he was wearing a wig and appeared to have breasts, LASD Sergeant Brian Hudson told Los Angeles news outlet. Unquote. My friends got daughters? God help them. Item from the Daily Mail. A Tulane University fraternity has caused an uproar this week after building a wall made of sandbags with the message, "Make America Great Again," and Trump plastered across it. Photos of the wall circulated on social media after it was erected on April 7th on the off-campus house of the university's chapter of Kappa Alpha Order. As part of the local chapter's annual tradition, it has pledges build a wall around its private property which each spring ahead of its Old South formal ball, according to the Times-Picayune. However, upset students said this time the wall was, quote, filled with connotations of hate and ignorance, unquote. My friends, there was plenty of ignorance there, I will say that. The ignorance is on the part of the empty-headed college students who think that Donald Trump stands for hate. He doesn't. So the ignorance is theirs, and the hate is theirs. You know, these days, I don't know if young people are stupider than we were when we were young, or if there's just more publicity, more news out there about what's going on. But when some yahoo like, I don't know, Whoopi Goldberg, of all people, stands up and says, Trump is this or that, college students just accept it as gospel and begin repeating it. It's as pathetically stupid as you can imagine. Item. From Agence France Presse, Dateline Los Angeles, top prosecutors from 11 U.S. states, including California and Colorado, are increasingly concerned by more frequent anti-Muslim threats, the Justice Department said. The department said local authorities and community members across the U.S. would hold town meeting-style discussions to address backlash against Muslim, Arab, Sikh, and South Asian Americans following the tragic terror attacks in Brussels, Paris, and San Bernardino. Unquote. My friends, I am also concerned for the safety of Muslims. I really am. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. That's why I would urge Muslims to leave the United States as quickly as is feasible. Item from the Rutherford Institute, Dateline, Charlottesville, Virginia. Attorneys for the Rutherford Institute will appear in court today to present arguments opposing an attempt by Virginia police to dismiss a lawsuit against them after a request to carry out a, quote, welfare check on a 58-year-old man resulted in a 2-hour SWAT team-style raid on the man's truck, a wrongful arrest, and a 72-hour mental health hold. During the standoff, a heavily armed police tactical team confronted Virginia resident Benjamin Burris, surrounded his truck, deployed a stinger device behind the rear tires, launched a flash grenade, smashed the side window in order to drag him from the truck, handcuffed and searched him, and transported him to a local hospital for a psychiatric evaluation and mental health hold. Unquote. No, my friends, if you're tuning in late, I am not describing Nazi Germany in the 30s and 40s. I see why you would make that mistake. And no, I'm also not describing KGB activities in the former Soviet Union. And I'm not talking about North Korea or China or the Pol Pot regime. I'm talking about right here in the good old US of A, where the police can do basically anything they want to you. right here in the USA Today. Item from the End of the American Dream blog. Should public facilities continue to offer separate bathrooms for men and women? In 2016, this has become a political hot potato that's causing emotions to run high on both sides of the debate. Many liberals consider the push for gender-neutral bathrooms to be on the cutting edge of the civil rights movement in the United States. Meanwhile, many conservatives consider separate bathrooms for men and women to be a matter of basic moral decency. What both sides of the debate can agree on is that this is an issue that's not going away anytime soon. Gender-neutral bathrooms are popping up in public places all over America, and the Obama administration has even installed one in the White House. Unfortunately, these gender-neutral bathrooms can have some very serious unintended consequences. U.S. colleges and universities are at the center of the debate. All over the country, student groups are pushing for gender-neutral restrooms. Many institutions of higher learning are now starting to implement them. Unquote. My friends, this is rampant, utter stupidity. Instead of empowering transgender people, we should be getting therapy for transgender people. We should be helping them, helping to cure them, rather than feeding their fantasies that they can somehow become the opposite gender. Because after all, they have civil rights. If a man can become a woman, why can't he become an ostrich? Or a puppy? Or a laughingstock, which, by the way, he has become. We'll be back with more Real Truth.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at
All right, guys, all done. I'll see you next week with more Real Truth.
Go to HappyHens.biz.
Take care. Bye-bye.